ARC. This is Carla, four of your admin team for ARC, and I want to do a tutorial for you today on hedging. Somebody had asked if I would, and I thought, why not? I'll try. I've never had a lesson before, so this is just my personal process. Hopefully you can use it. They're fun to put any kind of messaging on. You can use them for all kinds of things. Happy birthdays, or you can use them for you matter or love or hope, lots of stuff. Also, you can add in balloons, apples, different things. I put a flower in, but you can add in all kinds of fun little things. And his hand is real workable and movable, so you can add those things in. So hopefully you'll be able to use those. So let's get started. So I'm going to keep my camera just down here now so you can see everything. No need to see me. I use this Waverly blue. It's a Gavi blue. The Waverly paints, they're good. They're real glossy, so I like to use them on hiders. And they have a funky smell, though. They do have kind of a weird odor to them, very chemically. But they're really great because they're bright and shiny colors. They do get a little tacky, so they take a little longer to dry before you can start painting on them. They get sticky. But once they're dry, they're good to go. And then, of course, once you seal them and stuff, they're great. So I do use these a lot on my hiders. Then I have gray, a light gray, because you're going to be putting black over it, so you don't want to get too dark on your gray. But any kind of a light gray shade is great. And then I have black. You're going to be using quite a bit of black. I have this flesh color for my face. I use a fairly dark tone of flesh because he has a white belly, so your white belly will blend into your face if you get too light of a color. I also have a tiny bit of pink that I mix with some of my flesh to get his cheeks, or her, doesn't matter. Green, I use a bright green for my flower stem. If you're going to put a flower in, you might want to grab a green. You can use any shade, it doesn't matter. I just like bright. Make sure you have some white for his belly and for the stem. I'm using these two shades of purple. And like I said, any brand names, I mix them all the time. It really is not that big of a deal to me. It's not. I'm using this for my butterfly. If you're planning on making a butterfly, you grab two shades of any kind of pretty color you want to use. I'm using this for my flower. I chose it, but it is kind of close to this. I'm not sure. We'll see. It's pretty bright. It's a lot brighter than what you can see here on the screen. I'm having trouble finding my camera. Okay, so, and this is, what did I say this was? Laguna green. And then we should get started. I will start with the flesh for his face. The first thing I do is outline his little face because it's very easy. And I'm just going to put my paint on my parchment paper here for now. I normally have a palette that I use. And then my brush, I'll get my brush. So I'm going to use my flesh tones to draw out his face. And I make a curvy right here, which is really going to be the top of his head, where his little bangs are going to come over and make his cute little fur. Then I come up and make a big snooty nose right here. And then you come down. And I think I'm going to make him just a little bit bigger. Because my rock is a little bigger than that. You want to get his flesh in. Sorry, I'll turn my fan off. And then this is his nose, and you want his nose to be up in the air, kind of snooty. Most hedgy pictures have their noses up in the air, just because it's a cute expression. Get his face all colored in. Then I make a V down here, right here. Okay, I have his face. You can see this little guy here. And this is his, let me see if I can point the right place. I drew on him. Okay. That's the pointy part where you want his neck and everything to kind of point like that. This is going to be his hair starting, and that's his nose. And I'll wipe off that little piece I got on there. Okay, so let's get started on his body. And I've got the gray put out some gray here, some light gray. I might have put it out a little too soon because it's getting kind of thick. So I'm going to put some more gray. And I'm going to start up here. See if you guys can see this real well. And I'm going to make some little fuzzies. And I'm going to come out. Remember that hedgies can be all kinds of shapes. They can be thin, they can be chubby, they can be super round or super straight. I mean, hedges are really easy to kind of make a body. So don't think you've made a mistake. Just have fun with his shape and see what looks good to you. See what you enjoy. I like to make him kind of down here, down to the bottom. And so just do this kind of funky line thing here, and it doesn't have to be perfect because remember, you're going to come back over with black and make his actual quills. Then take a line right down, follow his face all the way like this, and then come straight down. And that's going to be his back. And then fill it all in like this. Get it all filled in. That's the one thing about these glossy backgrounds is that they are harder to fill in. They get kind of shiny and they slippery is what I want to call it. They don't want to take the paint as easily. But I just kind of get him all filled in. And I could have used a bigger brush, but I don't want to switch brushes on you guys right in the middle of doing this and take longer than it needs to take. So get his gray all filled in. Like I said, if it's not perfectly filled in or if your little quills aren't looking exactly right, don't worry because you're going to put your detail in with the black. And the black is going to cover up a lot. Okay, so I'm going to rinse out my brush. Don't mind my elbows being in your face here. Okay. And now I want to make his belly. So his belly, what am I making him kind of crooked because I'm trying to show the camera. And it won't matter. He can be a little crooked on my rock. Okay, so I'm going to make his belly. Okay, and I want to come basically out. Belly. Just like that. And see how his neck just kind of falls in line there? And then this just kind of comes up like that. Pull it down. Now you have your little hedgy belly. So cute. You can make a big belly. You can make a skinny belly. You can make one that's on a diet. But most hedgies have little chunky little bellies. I'm going to get them all filled in. And I kind of come straight down there. But you're going to be putting fuzzies all around his belly on the outside. So don't worry too much. Just get your basic filled in here. Because you want your white to fill in nicely. You don't want spots showing through on the belly. Because that's going to stay just like it is. And see, I want to make sure my edges have nice, clear, clean lines. You don't want to have lines that don't look straight and bold. If you get lines that are kind of not filled in so perfectly, they don't give a good, strong look to your picture. Okay, so I'm going to rinse with my other arm so it doesn't come across the camera. Remember, I'm new at this. I don't know how to do this perfectly. All right, so now I want to make his hand. And this is really easy, guys. So watch his hand. Take right here. You can pick anywhere you want. Don't go too low. You want to kind of go in the middle, but it's not perfect as to where his hand needs to be. You want to make the back of his hand here. You don't want to make it too jumbo, too big. If it looks like maybe your hand right here is a little chunky, which I thought mine might be a little bit big, I'm going to turn part of it into the second one right here. See? And you want to make sure your white is dry because you don't want to start blending on a hand when you didn't blend on his face. So it'll look like you blended his hand, but it won't match. You didn't blend his face or his belly. See how I'm getting kind of a blend look in there? I don't want to do that. But I'm doing it because I'm trying to make time not take too long. So I want to get rid of that blended look. Okay, then you want to make his feet. And I just do this little thing here. Make his ankles. You don't want to give him skinny ankles. That just kind of looks silly. Okay, here's his feet. And I make his feet even with his belly because their legs are not long and dangly or skinny. You want it to be right up on his belly. And then you want to make his other foot over here. But you don't want to forget that his other foot is there because it's going to blend together. So pay attention where your line ended. And we'll black outline that later. Okay. Now we're going to get black and start filling in his little face. So I think you guys can see him right now. He's starting to get his shape and his body and his look. Okay. So now we're going to go this way, this way. I'm trying to get the best angle for you guys here. See if I can bring it even down closer. Ah, that's even better, guys. Okay. So now I'm going to get my black. Now, first thing I want to do is make his face first. If I can get my black to come out because this is the last of this bottle here. I always like to use up all my paint. If your black is a little bit thick when you go to outline, if you notice you're getting thick lines, thin your black out with a little bit of water. In doing that, make sure that the water is completely off your paintbrush, because if you thin your paint and it's not completely off your paintbrush, guess what's going to fall down the tube, the line of your paintbrush onto your picture? Yeah, big water drop. Or even a little one is quite annoying. Now here's his little mouth. There. And it's a little thick, so I am going to thin my paint out. Try not to come across the picture here. So see, I'm just going to add some drops of water and thin it out so that it has a better look. And of course, right away, I'm going to wet my brush because I don't want water, even a little bit, coming down that brush. Then watch what a nice thinner line you're going to get. Oh, I'm nervous because I'm on here doing this with you guys. Okay. So if you notice, yeah, he's got a little bump coming off there, so I just pull it in like that. I just leave it alone. It's fine. Then I want to come down here like that. You notice I'm not doing anything here, and you'll see why. And that's still a little wet. You do not want a black outline when your paint is still wet because it will give a smushy, muddy look. Not a nice, clear look to your paper. To your picture, sorry. Here's your foot. And I don't give him a lot of toes. I don't think it's necessary. Okay, now we're going to do, boy, his hand is still a little bit wet, so it might get a little muddy on me. But I'm going to do it just for time's sake here. I'm going to go ahead and do his hand. Normally, I would give his hand time to dry because when you're outlining your pictures, you do not want to, especially with eyes, you don't want to have your paint still wet when you do those because then they get a smeared and muddy look to them. That's no fun. Okay, so I'm going to start here. See how I'm just doing this? I just want to get his top notch ready. What I don't want to do is start here and make long, 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 because that's going to make it more of a porcupine look than it is going to make a hedgy look. So I want to start here and do, and I want to follow along. And I want to start making this little thing here. When you're doing these, don't do them all the same size. Make them little, big, little, big, 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 little, big, little, like that. If you do them all the same size, it looks like stitching. Or it just doesn't look good. Okay. See? Little, big, 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 da, 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 da. Then you come around his whole body. See? Make it all come around. Little, big, little, big. Big one, little, big. Now coming up here, you want to kind of angle them, kind of come in a little down. Then you want to do the same thing right here, right on his face. Like that, okay? Then that gives you these quills to kind of follow along here. So then I come along with my second layer right here, and I follow this because that gives me the pattern of what way my quills are needing to go by the direction of these little guys here. See, they're all coming down. Then I come up here with another layer, do some longer ones because as you're getting up here you want longer ones. Here we go. All the way down, 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 down. See? You follow that pattern. Then you come here, do some more. You want these edges right here. These here, you want to have a thin top. Don't want to have them to be thick, straight down quills. You want to have a thin start. So start light on your touch. Take your touch real light up here and then pull. See? You don't want those to be real thick. You want them to be thin and pointy. And see how the direction changes as I come down? Just like that. And if you get a pointy one, so what? It just doesn't matter. So if you want, sorry, am I coming across the picture here? If you want to give him a second hand, it's real easy. You just come over here and just make a little 3 little circles. Oh, I've got some white in there. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to hurry so my video is not too long. 1, 2, 3. And just fill it in. And that is if you want to maybe put something in his hand. Then you can do that. And remember, you'd want to let it dry before you outline it. But I'm going to go ahead and do it now because I want to keep time going here. So I would do this, 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 and I would make these quills come back off of him a little bit again. Okay, so let's see if you guys can see that so far. Little guy, looking good. Okay, so we'll bring it back down. Now, sorry, I'm trying not to rinse my brush through the thing. Okay, so I'm going to give mine a flower. Oh, and remember, guys, you don't want your characters to be walking on air. So always just kind of put a little something, okay? You need something, some ground or something. That's usually a good idea. So I'm going to get my green. And this green here I use is light green. And I'm going to make sure there's nothing in my brush. So I'm going to re-rinse that. I've got it kind of far from me. This probably shouldn't have done that. Okay. So you want to take your stem, and it just doesn't matter, but you want to be high enough where it's going to look like he's smelling it. So just kind of pull it in like that. Okay. And then I would come through and maybe down here and maybe make this just a little bit more. But you don't want this stem to be that big, guys. It doesn't need to be. Then you just take a little point and a little point. And don't worry about making these look too leafy like, because we're just going to put a little stick of white in there, and it's all it's going to need to be because it's cartoonish. It doesn't have to have that realistic look to it. Just like if you notice his eye is solid black, I didn't put any highlight in his eye or anything like that. But you can if you want to. I'll put one in, so I'll show you what it would look like if it had one. All right. See, you just add a little bit of white down this edging here. That's all you're going to need. And so I'll put a little highlight in his eye to show you what it would look like if I had one. See, you can do that if you want. It just doesn't matter either way. That's your choice. So now I'm going to put my flower in. And I had decided on this. I think this green might be a little bit too dark, too much the same as this one, but that's okay. So you want to pull your leaf. Can you see? Let's see if you can see. I want to pull one leaf in the middle down this way. And then I want to take one this way. And I'm saying leaf, but I mean petal. And then I want to take one this way. See it? That's all you need to do. And then you're going to let that dry. Make sure you let it dry, which is what I'm not doing right now, but I'm going to just do this. Then you take this here one. And get another little strip of white and go here. See? It's just gives it a little flower look. If you feel like it and you don't want to let it dry too much and you want to do this number, you can. Okay? It can be dry or not dry. Okay. So I'm not happy with my stems, so I'm going to make them a little more pointy on my leaves. And I do want to kind of bring this little guy a little bit more like that. See, I've made that just a little bit thinner than what I would, thicker than what I would have liked. I'll probably come back through because I'm kind of ridiculous about my stuff, and I'm going to do this and thin it back up because I want it to be thin. I do not want it to be that big thickness. Okay, and then I will come back through. Sometimes the more you mess with something, the worse you make it, and I'm sure all of you guys already know that. I probably should have just left that thing alone, but I didn't. We've all been there, right? Okay, so I'm going to leave that flower alone. I'm going to come through and I'm going to make your butterfly real quick, and then we're going to be done. So I'm going to put a dark purple on here, and on your butterfly, you don't need a lot of exaggeration or detail or anything. Make a top like this, and then just make a little tail down here, and make him have a little squiffy. Okay? Then take your white, the next color of purple, lavender. Okay, come on, lavender, come on there. Okay, so take your lavender and do it again. Watch, it's probably not going to give me trouble. Butterflies are not my specialty here, guys. And then take your black, and I should already have some out, which I do. And you want to make a tiny little body right here. And he's got two little antennas. Beep. They're kind of bumping noses there. Okay. And there, that is a hedgie. And that's how he looks. All done. Is that showing up in there? Okay. Kind of looks a little blurry, doesn't it? Okay. I'll hold him down. There you go. All right. And then if you want to put in your wording, just come over here, put him back in the picture, and put over here, you. Of course you can read. I'm being silly. Okay. So my words kind of sometimes matter. Always has a tricky part of fitting. So what I do is I try to make the legs of it like really long, like that. And then I take my T's and I make them cross differently. And then I make my E real tiny and squeeze in that R. And there you are. You matter. You can still read it. Okay. That is my tutorial, guys. I hope you had a good time and I hope you can use it.